Here is one of the more controversial expressions. People say life eats life. It's true. The cow eats the plants, makes milk. Then the bacteria eat the cow when the cow is dead. Or the people eat the cow for meat. Or maybe some other animal catches the cow and eats it, like a bear or lion or tiger or a group of wolves. Life eats life is a common expression. Yes, it is true to some degree, but what does it want? What does the life want? Is there some goal or final destination or a system, or is there a chaos? Or is it just that the life is organizing in different groups, the higher hierarchy and the lower hierarchy? What is the reason, or what is the true goal and destination of the system? Well, different people say different things. Some people say life is all about to becoming a king, the people should dominate the nature, the lion should be on top or the tiger should be on top of the food chain. Some others saying maybe life is trying to organize into intelligent beings like humans, dolphins or octopus, and the lower beings like bacteria that have no self-direction. Some people say life is just trying to become self-aware. The path of life, like this path, is into the ascendance, enlightenment, into the higher beings. That life is trying to figure out how to become a higher self, to find its own logic, soul, maybe to fulfill its destination, to become multiplanetary, to progress, to become a better tool of self, or to have more options available for itself. Well, there is not really a fast and efficient way to find out what life really wants. We cannot communicate with life or with the planet. What do you want? We cannot communicate in words or directly. Some people maybe are able to do some spiritual things and pretend they're speaking to some spirit of the earth or the spirit of the nature. We cannot communicate in words or math. What we can do is to observe what life actually does want. One of the most interesting observations that humanity did make in its history is that life is trying to go up, to evolve into something, from more simple things into more complex things, to survive, to adapt, to be able to exploit, or to be able to be most fitting into the environment that it is living in. And life is always trying to find the balance between environment and the most efficient way to sustain self. What is at the end of this process? What is at the end of the path or of the history of nature and life in our solar system or our galaxy? We can only guess. We can also apply some physical processes or the physical history of the galaxy to the history or observation of life itself. In the physics, the complexity of the universe is always increasing. Suns explode, form new formations, new elements. In nature, we see a lot of competition. Life eats life, as the expression says. But this expression is only part of the story. You see, life eats life. But also, you can see there is competition, complexity, the increase of complexity, adaptations, evolutions. But also, there is abundance. Nature creates abundance. How does it create abundance? It makes trees, shrubs, berries, grass, animals that eat the grass. Nature is always increasing abundance and balance. There is competition between the parts of nature and parts of life. Humans are part of it, a little bit of wild part or rock part. We also contribute our part. We did not find balance with nature yet, but we are on the path of finding it. What we can understand from all of this is that life is trying to create more of itself. More, not less. Maybe as humans, as the active part. As we are more dominant and more active in nature, maybe we should increase the survivability or the balance of nature. That should be maybe the goal of humanity, because when life or when nature is doing good on our planet, then humanity does very, very well as well. If we have a forest, we can harvest it and make doors, tables, houses, paper money if you want, art on that paper, whatever you want. But there is no forest, you cannot do anything. We do benefit from the abundance of nature. People are definitely changing and adapting and making changes to the ecosystem, to the whole planet, to the whole nature, and as well to the life itself. Like this apple tree, people grow gardens, farms. We favor some animals and reduce the number of others. We favor some plants and reduce the number of others. We destroy, we pollute, we try to exploit as much as possible. We try to occupy the space, just like this blackberry that's occupying all of the forest here. We grow on top of nature, become more and more, while destroying, just like this tree was destroyed by this toxic vine that grew on top of it and blocked all the sunlight and took all the nutrients from the tree. This is not sustainable, we do recognize it. So life is not an expression that we should adopt as a mantra. We are not lions, and the lions only eat the weakest. So in essence, they don't eat the life, they reduce the population of the sick, of the slowest, of the old. They don't eat the strongest, because the strongest always run away. There is a balance that is beyond the logic of life eats life. And we are trying to, as humans are trying to figure it out. What is the balance between us and nature or life in our solar system? What is the balance between humanity and life as it is? Maybe one day we will figure out that we should also just observe nature and follow the path that is taking. Be maybe an active tool of nature to create abundance, diversity, balance between species. Abundance there is there. All the plants, all the life wants to dominate if you let it. Humans perceive themselves as the dominant, as the strong, capable part of nature. We are definitely not. It's just a phase for us. Abundance. Nature definitely wants us to succeed, to be abundant, but maybe not at the cost of itself. So people like Elon Musk are right. Nature should maybe move to other planets, and with that nature maybe humanity should move to other planets, expand life in the universe. This is definitely what life wants. It doesn't want to be destroyed. The destruction of nature is definitely a problem. It's a current problem, or maybe it always has been. In the past, for example, in Japan, they used the trees so much and they used the forest so much that they cut a lot of forest in all of Japan before they introduced forest management. And now Japan is one of the countries that has the most efficient forest management. They grow more than they use. They have abundance of wood in Japan. That's why there is a lot of skilled wood craftsmen in Japan, and it is known to be the culture of the highest advancements in wood crafting. So it's not that bleak. We realize the problem, we learn from it, we try to figure out how to live in balance with nature. We'll figure it out at the high cost. Some people say we will destroy nature. Nature will probably survive us. What we will destroy is probably our health, our own civilization, but not nature. So maybe if we find the balance with nature, then we find the way to survive as humanity. Nature will survive, that's for sure, but humanity will survive with nature if we find our balance, our peace, or maybe our peace treaty. If we don't mess it up, it can be profitable together. We can grow, we can manage, we can expand nature with simple acts, just like growing like random garlic in the forest. Why not? I'm never going to eat it. It's not going to eat itself. It's gonna grow and grow and grow for the future generations of animals and people. Most of us, and I mean humans and animals, we just don't have time to deal with these massive problems. Or that's what we think we don't have. Reality is we are part of nature. It is us. Our life is not a correct expression. People eat life, animals eat life, bacteria eat life, individual parts of nature eat life. But nature as its whole, as a system, it creates life, tries to create abundance, tries to create balance, tries to do the karma or the judge of its individual parts of itself. Nature is ultimately like the mother that's always giving, and parts of nature are taking. So life eats life is not the correct expression. It's some things eat life and others contribute. As you're watching this video or listening to it, I assume you are a human and part of nature. Religions try to answer the question, what is the purpose of life, what is our goal, what is God wants us to do. We for sure know that we are part of nature, that maybe we should follow its goals and its logic to give abundance, balance, peace and prosperity to nature and life itself. There is justice, there is goodness in this, and at the end of it, if you fight it, you'll probably lose. Most of us don't have time to deal with such philosophical questions, or we don't have time to integrate this into our daily life. That's what we think we do. But as a principle, there are logic that is nature following nature, and there is logic that's following us itself. Like the consumerism, for example. If I buy this and this and that, maybe it's going to be more fun, life will be more complete. Maybe it will and maybe it not. So how much stuff do we need? Do we need all of the objects that are in the shop? Will those objects fit into our home? Do we have enough space? Do we have to pay for them with money, with time, for maintenance? Do we have to look at those objects? When we buy a car, why do we buy a gasoline car? Why don't we buy just an electric used one if available? Or why don't we just take a taxi or share a car? At the end, we think we are gaining something by doing cheap stuff or buying objects. In reality, we are losing. Some people say the gasoline pollutes. Other people say just buy everything electric car. It's gonna be fine, good for environment. In reality, if you drive a gasoline car, the most pollution it creates is for yourself. You inhale the same fumes that you use in the car. All of the objects around you, they are closest to yourself, not to some other people, not to the nature. They are damaging you first and then the rest. So if you want to be in line with nature, then maybe drive an electric car. Maybe use less stuff or less synthetic stuff, less single-use plastics or single-use objects. There are different things to look at our consumption. What do we need? We need this stuff, or maybe we need to walk around, or do we need to see, experience life? Or maybe just look at it from the different perspective. If you respect life, maybe it will respect you back. If you treat it well, maybe it will treat you well also. If not, then not. But at least that's the logic. Some religions, they answer this question very easily. God created humans and created life and put humans as the top king of nature. Doesn't look like it. We still get sick, and viruses still dominate us more than we dominate them. Why should we be even king? Maybe we should be part of it, or a complice, or a partner, instead of being a king. Why dominate when you can enjoy friendship? There are all these hidden treasures or hidden secrets in nature, or in reality, that we don't see because our eyes only see part of the natural spectrum of light. We don't see particles, we don't see energy flow, we don't see wind. We are only guessing. There are many things to gain or to get once we reconnect by observing and by focusing on the things we don't see in nature. We might find some awareness or more complexity than we assume. Maybe not as individually, but maybe as a group. Because who has this superpower to see everything, to understand everything? No, not a single human, but maybe as a group we do. That's how we always done, figure stuff out as a group. People say, why should we go to space? Why don't we just study nature? We don't understand half of it, or we understand only a small percentage of it, or trying to understand, to figure it out. Why? Maybe life wants us to expand nature to other planets. That's why. It's definitely a good step forward, and at the same time it's also very good to try to figure out how parts of nature can serve us and give us some ideas, some inspiration. As we start to engage with artificial intelligence, we can also engage with nature intelligence and try to figure out what the individual parts of nature, like bacteria, roots, plants, what chemicals, what strategies they did use to create results. And maybe we can copy their wisdom and their logic, write it down, acknowledge and appreciate. It's just like an artificial intelligence and natural intelligence. In this natural intelligence is a lot harder to understand because it doesn't communicate with us directly. We just have to understand it by studying it. But there is definitely a lot of wisdom in nature which is just not accessible to us at the moment. How much wisdom there is? There is a lot of wisdom. More than enough, more than we need. Life eats life, people say, but then again, here is life growing on the rock by itself. Doesn't eat anything but the rock. Or is the rock alive, as some people say? No soil, it does create the soil. No minerals, it extracts the minerals from the stone. Life creates life is a more correct expression. Life does not just consume, it transforms and creates something new. Plants eat the minerals, bacteria takes the sugar from the plants, give them the minerals. Life creates roots, life branches out, creates structure, trying to optimize all and everything that it has around itself, trying to create more than it needs, trying to create abundance for all of the parts of nature and life. So life eats life is not completely true. Life creates life is a more correct phrase. Life grows on rocks, on empty places, and it probably grow on other planets if we let and help life to grow on other planets. There is definitely a religion or maybe a philosophy in this. Life creates life, and maybe we should be part of it, part of its creation or distribution. Maybe humans, or the role of humans is to distribute life in the galaxy. Maybe that is what nature or our planet wants us to do. Life can grow everywhere if you let it grow, if you help it. It can grow on a bare rock and create a flower. Humans cannot do this. Humans need something. Humans need nature to survive. So maybe we should start this environmentalist religion. Some people take it too seriously, they become radical. Environmental radicalism is a thing. Maybe it should be more moderate, but definitely there is some spirituality in nature. There is definitely some spirituality in understanding nature and what it wants as a system. Some people say there is no meaning, there is no reason, there is no logic, there is no system, nature doesn't have anything, no soul, no wisdom. But it's not correct. If we observe, nature definitely has some type of awareness. It does create and it does follow some kind of logic. We just don't understand it correctly. And figuring it all out is part of the fun. Maybe we should just listen before we destroy nature or before it destroys us. Life creates lives. Life transforms whatever it takes. It makes new things out of whatever it takes. Life is generous and life is prosperous. Life creates abundance, and we should be thankful for it. So on behalf of all the people who are watching or listening, thank you life and thank you nature for giving us the gifts that you are giving to us. In response, we appreciate and we will try to find balance to coexist in this loop of prosperity. Thank you for listening, thank you for watching and for understanding. Have fun and find your own balance between your own personal life and the system of nature that is all around us.